Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes Up. Today I'm having a few light issues as one of my lights died on me this morning, so I've just ordered a new one, so bear with me today. It was my only chance to get to film to make sure there was a video for you this Sunday. I'm going to do the look I wore for my birthday, which was last week, probably 2 weeks ago by the time you see this video. I had such a lovely day. I went out for dinner with friends. I was shooting in Wapping in the daytime. The sun was really hot and gorgeous, and it was just lovely to see all my friends, and I was spoilt rotten, and I just really like the makeup look I did for that because it's a look that I tend to always go back to. I find this is nice for kind of evening makeup, and it's quite a universal look. The colours kind of suit everyone. It's quite neutral, a little bit smoky but more with liner. So I'm going to show you how to get the look. So for my base, I'm going to start with Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua. This is in the shade 20. This is what I wore on my birthday because what I actually had to do was just take stuff out my kit to do my own makeup. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use a flat kabuki brush by Sigma, and I'm just going to start that on the inside of my face and then buff outwards. So for brows for my birthday, I used a bit of the Suqqu eyebrow palette, and this one is the Balancing Eyebrow in #1 Moss Green. I actually really like the brush that comes with this. It's got a really good little angle brush, and I just used a bit of the darkest shade. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, going back through a phase of enjoying powder again at the minute in my brows. And again, I always start with my brows just kind of on the outer part and just work on building my arch back up first. I find that's where I get a brow back. A little bit on the ends, just quite soft but full. The next thing I used was some eyeshadows by MAC, so in particular Cork and Embark were the two that I used, and I'm just going to take, what brushes have I got? A MAC 217, and I'm just going to take Cork, the lighter brown, and I'm just going to sweep that all over my lid. I'm just taking that kind of to my socket, and then I'm going to take I think this is the NARS 13 brush, and I'm just going to buff that out a little bit. And then taking a Zoeva Petite Crease, I'm just going to take a little bit of that Cork under the eye as well, so just to give a nice little bit of shadow. So going back to another Petite Crease by Zoeva, I'm going to go in with the darker colour, which is Embark, and I'm just going to run that along the top lash line, so it just kind of smudges into the roots. So it gives a little bit of depth and a bit of darkness to the lash line. I'm also going to put a bit of black liner over this. So it has a really nice kind of soft smoky effect, but still with liner. And I'm just taking that kind of up to where the crease starts, and then as if it was almost like making a liner shape, but much softer and more blended out. Then I'm going to take a bit of this pencil by Clarins, which I think it's been in my handbag for a little while. I think it's called, I think it's just called Brown 02, and it's one of their soft eye pencils. This is very, very similar to MAC Teddy. It's pretty much the same colour, but I think I have Teddy in my kit and this one stays in my handbag. So I'm just going to line my bottom waterline with this. It's quite a kind of sparkly brown, but it's not as like dark as something like Coffee by MAC. So just taking that into the waterline, and again just kind of smudging it over the lash line as well. And I'm going to take a little bit of that in my top waterline as well. And then I'm just giving my eyelashes a good curl before I do any liner, so it doesn't kind of affect the liner. And going right to the root and giving a good squeeze and tilting it back slightly for a real lift. So I'm going to take Maybelline Gel Liner. This is their Black Studio, the Eye Studio Lasting Drama. I do find with drugstore you can get such good kind of gel liners now that you don't really need to spend a lot of money on them. So Maybelline Black one is the one I used on the day. So I'm going to add a flick over the smoky eye. So I'm just pulling it out really slowly first, and then I'm going to pull that in, nothing too elongated, but just so that it helps pull the eyes out that little bit more. So, and then just joining it up, and then just fill it in. And I'm kind of taking the liner to kind of halfway, and that just really frames the eyes. And for me, this is kind of my go-to favourite evening look. I find it just works with every kind of outfit. You could still do a lip with it as well if you wanted to, but I just really like the darkness of the eyes without it being like a brown, deep brown or black smoky eye. It kind of becomes like a bit softer with the liner as well. And for mascara at the minute, I've been really liking Clinique. They're high impact waterproof. I find now the weather's a bit warmer, I need that kind of waterproof finish in my mascara. So the one looks like that. I'm just going to give a good amount of mascara to my top and bottom lashes. And when you're using a waterproof mascara as well, it will kind of help lock that lash curl in place from your curlers. So I have found myself using more waterproof mascaras now. So now for my favourite bits, concealer. You guys know I love the Clarins one, so that's what I used on the day. I'm just going to do a little pop of that, and I'm going to take my Real Technique setting brush, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of that under my eyes and around my nose. I just find this stuff really suits my skin. So I'm going to lift underneath the eye. Again, I'm not going to go too close to kind of where the eyeshadow is, so I don't end up ruining the smokiness. But I find these colours as well, they bring out the green in my eyes a little bit. My eyes can sometimes be a little bit hazily brown. Then the other product I've been loving at the minute is the Chanel. This is the Soleil de Bronze, the powder. My lid has come off sadly, it always seems to happen with my powders. But I'm going to take, I've been really enjoying using the Bobbi Brown blender brush, the face blender. And I just pop a bit of that powder, and rather than kind of using a powder to set my makeup, I just like to add a bit of warmth first. So I just kind of hit the apples of the cheeks and then work kind of around the hairline, sort of high points of the face. Starting to get a little bit of colour for me. I know I'm pale, but yeah, and I just like the way it really complements this makeup. So I kind of use this to hit the high points of the face. I like taking it into my hairline as well, just to blend, just to blend everything through really nicely. So I'm not really using this to contour, I'm just using this to add warmth. So I'm taking a little bit more, I take it a little bit onto my jawline. And I just love using this just to add that kind of nice, you can see the glow that comes through from the Vitalumiere Aqua with the powder. So it does complement each other really, really nicely. So I'm kind of just using that across my forehead, a little bit, I do a little bit across my nose. And then the product I've been really excited to show you guys is this by Maybelline. It's called Master Sculpt. And I've done a blog post on it. If it's out when this video comes out, I'll link it below. But this is such a good drugstore contour. You do get a mirror in it as well with a brush. Not sure how great the brush is, but still it comes with a mirror and a brush. And I just love, again, the highlight's okay, but it's the contour is amazing. It's so good. It's like, hopefully the camera's picking up the truest colour. It's kind of like a grey brown. So again, I think you have to remember when using contour, it's not about adding bronze or warmth. You're just trying to mimic the shadows and the contours of your face. So I'm going to use this with a Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt brush. So I just use the contour shade and I just follow down from the top of my ear to the hollow. So I just had a nice bit of contour. And I just think this colour is so good. It's the nearest I've ever found probably to the kind of Kevin Aquan. And it's worth me pointing out, actually, I'm using the shade 2, I think, the medium to dark. The one for light skin did verge a little bit on the orangey tone, but I just found this looked so good on skin, and it does literally make that colour of like a shadow. So even if you've done a bit of bronzer first and want to add warmth, you can then go in with this and just use this to kind of shape your cheekbones and sculpt a little bit where you want to. So I take a little bit into the temples and again on the top of the hairline. And then if in doubt, just take your bronzer brush and you can just kind of knock off any edges if it comes too close to the jawline. You want to make sure it's more just in those hollows of the cheeks. I think for lips on the day, I just use a bit of Clinique Chubby Stick in Heaping Hazelnut because I always go back to that because it's so easy. So I'll put a little bit of that on. And so that is the finished look, guys. That was my birthday makeup that I wore. I was 29 and I've enjoyed my 20s, but I'm also excited for my 30s. So yeah, that is the look that I did. I hope you guys like the look. Let me know if you're going to try it out, and I'll see you soon for more videos. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.